So for those of you who are outside of Dubai, there is lots of tips and tricks that you can take away from the presentation tonight. And for those of you who are already located in Dubai, a lot of it will apply for you as well. You can use the same job searching strategies whether you are in or outside of the country. So it's really important that, it's really important that we are making sure that our resumes are up to date. At the end of the day, you know, our CV is one of many tools. It's not the only tool, but you need to make sure that you've got a really content-rich resume and, of course, LinkedIn profile, your cover letter, and most importantly is your network. So good news for us all. I'll just admit, I think there's, oh no, it's the chat. Oops. Good news for us all is that there are lots of different newspapers and articles and, you know, lots of information out there showing that the Dubai market is picking up. So I've taken just a couple of screenshots from all the way back in April up until the June-July period. So the UAE market is picking up pre-COVID. We're not quite there yet, but we're definitely on the upward trend. So tonight I want to go through the best ways that you can search for your job, how to search for jobs abroad, tips and tricks for your CV cover letter in LinkedIn, and then most common mistakes that I'm finding job seekers make. Okay, so first things first, it's really important, especially if you're outside of the country, that you're registering yourself on job boards. So the #1 platform in Dubai that recruiters are using is LinkedIn. A second leading platform is something called I Want to Work, and they're all .com at the end of these platforms. Indeed, Glassdoor, Careerism, Job Hunt, Jobate, and GM4JH. So these are most common platforms that you can register yourself with. I highly recommend that you do not pay for any job search or registration. It's just a little bit untrustworthy if it's a scam or not. So just be careful. There are other platforms out there, Nakiri Golf, for example, Bayit. There are other reputable ones, but just be careful. If you're ever asked to pay to register yourself, really do your homework and make sure that it is a legitimate job board. Kindly note, guys, that you should not be giving any form of payment for those people who are trying to, you know, take money off the job seeker. In Dubai, it is illegal for companies to be accepting money from a job seeker perspective. So on top of job boards, you've also got company websites. So the likes, for example, of ExxonMobil or Shell, you know, the big Fortune 500 companies, you can register yourself on the career website. So it's really important that you're doing your homework to know what type of platform you should be registering on that is specific to your industry. And then at the end of the day, you need to get your branding right. What I mean by that is I understand that you all have got multi-skills. Some of you maybe are in communications, you might be in as marketing, or you might be as a brand manager. But you really need to make sure that you are consistently showcasing what you can do best. So for example, if you were going for a marketing manager, your profile should not reflect that of a brand manager because there are slight differences. So when you're submitting yourself to these platforms, try not to display yourself as someone is generic. So do a little bit of homework, you know, complete a SWOT analysis, a gap analysis of yourself, and make sure that you're comfortable in knowing what you want to be labeled as or branded as. Because these days, people are really looking for someone who, you know, really fits the profile of what they're advertising. And if you come across as generic or you're not fine-tuned for that industry, your chances of employment will be significantly reduced. So once you've registered on all of those sites, you're really comfortable in terms of what you're going to be known as, you need to start working on your resume. So let's cover what your CV should look like, how the screening software works, because in Dubai, it is extremely robust. That you can imagine, the job seeker pool or the talent pool is really big compared to other industries. So a lot of companies have got software integrated to ensure that they can shortlist their candidates. We'll walk you through how to tailor your CV and what it should be on there, and all of this for your LinkedIn and cover letter as well. So before you even begin to write your resume, you really need to start thinking about what is your unique selling proposition. So what am I going to be an added value to the next employer? What metrics will make me showcase my skills in a clear and concise manner? Because we don't want our CVs and our profiles too long. We don't want a CV that's extremely busy. And of course, we want to showcase why we shine. Okay. So think, create a little mind map before you even begin writing. So it's really important that you know yourself well, because if you don't know your own unique selling proposition, your own strengths, maybe some weaknesses, it's really hard for you to write accurately. So once you've got that under your belts, I then suggest you to go and look at the company profile and read the job description thoroughly. So to be successful in a job search, especially in the UAE region, you need to be having a resume that is completely compatible with the job advert. You shouldn't be just sending one CV to every single application. It's important to be strategic, be focused and targeted. And what I mean by that is don't just apply for, say, 50 or 60 jobs for the day or for the week. Pick a couple of jobs and companies even, and really make sure that you're fine-tuning your profile to exactly the way that they are asking you. It is time consuming, but at the end of the day, this is how, especially clients that I have worked with, have had success. Okay, so I know this might sound basic, but I read a lot of profiles on a daily basis. You wouldn't believe how many resumes I read. And so many people forget about these basic things. So make sure that you're using a font that is compatible with the applicant tracking software. And they are Arial Times New Roman, the most common. There are others, but they also read well or look well to the human eye. So make sure that you're not using it any bigger than size 12 and a minimum of size 10. Of course, we're aligning all of our text. Everything should be justified. And our margins generally 2.5 centimeters, but no less than 1.5 to maximum 1. It's just to make sure that the software can read it, and of course, for the human eye. Columns, these are not ideal. So I see a lot of CVs, they're made in Canva, which look fantastic on the computer screen. But naturally, a human will read across the full screen of the document, across the full screen of the page. It's not natural for us to break up text. So make it easy for the recruiter. Again, something super common or super, you think you forget about this, but it's really important that your contact details are right. Don't be listing 2 or 3 different emails or 2 or 3 different numbers. Just make it easy for the recruiter or the hiring manager to know how and where to contact you. Okay, a professional email address. You don't want to be having something ridiculous that you had back in 1999. At the end of the day, this is how personal branding comes down to it. I highly encourage you to be listing your LinkedIn URL on your resume, because if you've got more the information than you want to add or that you can add from your CV, it makes it really easy for the hiring manager, for the recruiter, for the end user of that document to click to your LinkedIn and read further information. Okay, so let's just briefly touch on the CV screening software. I know a lot of you, especially some of the clients that I've worked with, are familiar with this, but I cannot stress the importance of understanding how this software works, because this, at the end of the day, is what will enable you to be shortlisted to a human. So it's really, really important that we understand the concept of do more with less. So once we have been shortlisted, and we'll get to how you want to make sure that your document maximizes the end user's time when they're reading it. So how do we do that? We want to make sure that we have got clear numbers and metrics, clear keywords that we have got incorporated throughout the resume. So in order to have it ATS and human friendly, you need to have your contact details easily read or accessible. Keep it simple. You can inject some color. And what I mean by that is maybe some dark blues, some grays in your CV or cover letter. No clip art or graphics. This will not pass the software. Of course, you want to be locating your keywords, and I will show you how to do this. And just remember, for the UAE market, photos are optional. For example, the US, Australia, UK, you would definitely not be having a photo on your resume. But some recruiters and some hiring managers do like a photo on the resume in this region. So that could be something that you could consider. If you want to take a screenshot, I have consolidated all what I have just spoken about on this slide. You're welcome to take a shot of this page. Okay, so here's just a short video that has summarized what I have mentioned.
Hi guys, today we're going to talk about how to get your resume past an ATS, which stands for Applicant Tracking System. Applicant tracking systems use technology to scan your resume to determine if you're a good match for the job. On average, 75% of resumes submitted are deleted by the ATS, and many times it's because the system can't read the resume, or the resume isn't optimized correctly. And with over 95% of large companies and over 50% of mid-sized companies now using ATS technology, you need to ensure your resume gets past the filters. Okay, enough with all these scary statistics. Here are 5 quick tips to help get your resume past an applicant tracking system. Tip number 1. Make sure you have the correct keywords in your resume that target the industry or job description. For example, if an accounting job description contains words such as Microsoft Excel, journal entries, and balance sheet, make sure you include those words on your resume, as the ATS may be searching for these keywords. Tip number 2. Always use a professional resume format such as a functional, reverse chronological, or a hybrid, which is a combination of both. You should do some research and figure out which format suits you better. Tip number 3. Avoid fancy designs, colors, and images on your resume, as an ATS will have trouble reading it. Stick to a professional, clean, and concise resume. Tip number 4. Use a popular and professional font such as Arial, Calibri, New Times Roman, or Georgia, as these are easy to read for an ATS. And lastly, tip number 5 is to always send your resume as a Microsoft Word document, unless stated otherwise in the job description. A Microsoft Word document is easily processed by the ATS and is also the preferred format for the majority of employers. Thanks for watching.
So I just wanted to touch on that. So these days, a lot of software can recognize PDF, but definitely in that video when he said, make sure that you upload it according to the application, you will find when you go to portals, it will say, please upload resume or CV in .docs or .pdf. And it means that you can upload any of those. Definitely don't be uploading in Pages, which is the MacBook version, which I've seen, unfortunately. And you can't open it, which means you've ruined your chances of being screened. As I mentioned, photos are optional. However, guys, please don't put on your passport photo. Show a little bit of personality. You can have a professional headshot taken. You could have something smart, casual, but please don't put your driving license or your passport photo on there. It really doesn't do you justice. I can't stress the importance of not doing this. It doesn't reflect a positive image when you are allowed to have something with a little bit more of a personality. Okay, so now that we've sort of touched on an overview of the CV, let's go into a deeper dive in terms of what type of content you should be having on the resume. So I really cannot stress the importance enough of not having an objective statement. So the employer does not care what you want to achieve. So a lot of times you will see on resumes, I want to work in a reputable organization where I can enhance my skill sets to further my career. So we don't want to be having this. You want to ensure that you've got an elevator pitch that summarizes your experience. Okay, you want to make sure that you are incorporating major accomplishments, the number of years of experience that you have had, and then any metrics that might be quite significant. Maybe 3 to 4 sentences could be used for someone in a junior position. And if you've got, around 8+ years worth of experience, you can utilize a bigger summary. So you are welcome to take some screenshots here. I've got various different age groups to cater for the different audience that we've got. But here are some examples of an executive summary that you can use. Okay. Okay, so now that you've got an executive summary, you want to showcase your skills. So this would be the next component to your resume. And this is really, really important, especially for those of you who are in a management position or an aspiring leader. You want to showcase your soft skills or your essential skills. At the end of the day, everyone can teach hard skills, whether that's, Excel or something that you can measure, something that is technical. But it's quite difficult to teach soft skills. So it's important to showcase these both on your CV and, of course, ensuring that they are matching the job description. So if you go to LinkedIn, you will always find hard and soft skills listed on the job description. So, for example, this is taken directly off LinkedIn. In this advert, it is an IT director, and this is the job description itself. Specifically, the director will, and then you can find here, you can see the different skill sets that are highlighted in green or red. Now, there's a program called Jobalytics, which is absolutely 100% free. You can download this and install it into your Chrome browser. And it will analyze your resume when you upload your new resume and compare it to the job description that you're about to apply for. And you'll see here that the green words that are highlighted or underlined are listed in this resume, and the words that are highlighted or underscored in red are missing. Now, based on this, the algorithm or the program, the software, creates a compatibility match. So for this resume that was a dummy or a sample, it's ranked it as a 42% compatibility match. Now, for me as a recruiter or someone who is hiring, I probably wouldn't go and click into this candidate's profile if I saw that they were a 42% match. So we always want to be having an 80% compatibility match and higher. And that will encourage a recruiter or a hiring manager to open your profile and read more about you. So how do you do that? You make sure that you have got the skill sets incorporated in your CV. And that can be in the skills section itself or the responsibilities or achievements section. At the end of the day, you always want to be making sure that your resume showcases your unique selling proposition. Okay, so we should be having it in a chronological order, and you want to be having statements that grab the interest of the reader. We don't need to be putting every single detail that you did there since 1999 or every single detail of that SAP project that you were working on. You want to be putting on statements that enable or encourage them to pick up the phone and ring you. At the end of the day, the CV is not designed to land you the job directly. It's to get you in the door for the interview. So how do we do this? A really a strong recommendation that I have is that we are listing our achievements. Now, of course, for those of you who are maybe in a junior position, or I think I saw anyone from high school or university, but you can include various awards that you received throughout your university. And for those who are in a more senior position, we can be writing significant achievements that are categorized under certain pillars. So, for example, you can summarize your achievements, and this would be across your workplace career in functional skill sets. Okay, and you'll note every time you are listing an achievement, you have got clear numbers and metrics incorporated throughout the CV. Okay, if you want, I know this slide is a little bit busy, but I've purposely put it here for you to be able to screenshot and purely read exactly what I am talking about. So you've got a supply chain CV, and we have got here, I think this was finance. Okay. So at the end of the day, this is your unique selling proposition. How can you enhance the top and bottom line figures of the company that you are applying to? So you'll note that I've listed some significant achievements, and this is across their career. And then below, we have got workplace experience, and then again listed achievements. And these achievements are relevant for that specific time frame. So highlighting important ones that span across the entire career just showcases and strengthens your value. Don't forget, when you've got hundreds of applicants, and unfortunately these days I'm even seeing 1,000 on LinkedIn or the easy apply button, which we'll come to, you want to make sure that you're standing out. So some common mistakes that I am seeing is definitely the objective statement on the CV. Capital letters, it's just ridiculous how frequent I see this, but sometimes the sentences have got random capital letters spread throughout, okay? It's really important that you are presenting yourself, professionally, and you're using business language. So don't be using capital letters unless it's where it's not appropriate. Make sure that you do not just copy and paste your job description. That is a big no-no. So we want to be showcasing accomplishments with clear numbers and metrics. Make sure that, I know that this sounds basic, but super common mistake, when you save the file, make sure that it is just simply your first dot and then last name, or you could just have your full name and then resume or .cv. Don't be putting the date that you created it. I've seen so many times, Trisha Chapman CV, May 2010 or 2015. So it doesn't do any justice in showcasing when the document was written or just writing my CV. So make sure that your file is saved correctly. I also want to make sure that some common mistakes that is covered is the job title. So if you're applying for a marketing manager, but your job title on your resume says brand specialist, you're not going to rank very well with the software, nor is the reader going to believe that you are the best fit, because it's at the top of the document, and that's the first thing that he or she will see when they open the document. So make sure that you are aware of your digital footprint, because let's be honest, if you don't know someone, the first thing you'll do is either Google them or LinkedIn search them or Facebook them. And obviously you want to make sure that you have got a clean digital footprint, especially in the Middle East. It can be a quite sensitive region. What I mean by that, there's lots of ups and downs, lots of turmoil. You've got people with different opinions about economic situations. You've got different cultural beliefs. You want to make sure that across your social media that you have got a clean footprint. because you never know what you might mention in a couple of posts. It might offend other people, and then that may prevent you from getting a job. And don't forget, there are now a lot of AI integrations for recruitment software. So just be really, really careful. Okay, coming to a close on the CV before we touch on the cover letter and LinkedIn. Make sure that you proofread your CV. There's lots of free tools. One of them is called Grammarly. You can install this, and that will help you with your spelling. We understand, that English is not a lot of your native language. English is not your native language. Goodness gracious, and it's totally fine. But where you can, do your best and integrate the tools that are available to you. Okay, so now your CV is ready. You're ready to use it to start applying to positions. But don't forget, your network is your net worth. Now, what I mean by that is Dubai is a place where if you know someone who can help you, it will really work to your advantage. They can put in an internal referral. They can directly pass your contact details. A lot of jobs are posted on the hidden job market, which means that they're not always advertised. You want to be making sure that you are reaching to people within the company. So for example, if you see a job posting on LinkedIn, you could go to not only the hiring manager, but you could reach to the marketing manager, to the business development manager, sales director, and say, hi, Trisha, I'm wondering if you have an internal referral program as part of your company, because a lot of them get incentives or they are paid by the company for a successful placement, and that helps internal costs be reduced. So it's really important to be not only reaching to the recruiters, but to people within the company itself. Okay. So it's really important that, here we go, moving to the LinkedIn, that you stand out. So, you're applying through the portals through LinkedIn. You obviously then want to make sure that your own LinkedIn is up to date. So how do we make sure that you are visible on that space? So I highly encourage a background photo. Make sure that your own professional photo or your image is a little bit, welcoming or visually appealing. Again, don't upload your passport. This is the time for you to shine for your personal brand. Make sure you've got a strong tagline, which is this part here. Okay, this section, and down here. And of course, a URL. You can have a unique URL, which I will show you. At the end of the day, though, you need to be making sure that your digital footprint is clean. And this is one way that you can attract people to the digital space that you own. So for those of you who might be interested in creating your own LinkedIn banner, if you're using Canva or something of the like, the size is a 1400 by 425. Yes, sorry, I just talked about this. So it's really important. So this is, again, this is the tagline. This also helps with your search engine optimization. So if someone Googled you, now LinkedIn has got extremely high rankings with Google SEO. But if you were looking for an engineer job, you would want to be having keywords that are specific to engineering incorporated in your tagline, because this will not only help you appear in Google, but there is a program called LinkedIn Recruiter. Now, that program is, it's a paid program that recruiters will use when they are searching for their talent. So if you have keywords that they are looking for, that will pop up on the back end. Okay, so that's why we encourage you to utilize this tagline space. Okay. So as I was mentioning, you want to make sure that you have a unique URL. So this is how you would make your own URL. And this is what I'm referring to as a URL at the top here. So you can see here, LinkedIn impressive CV. If you don't have this, you'll have numbers, like a list of, I think, 7 or 8 different numbers across here. So let me show you how you can create this.
Okay, so how do we create a background photo like this? And how do we change or upload a profile photo like this? What you're going to do is click the me icon, go to view profile, and this will take you to your home page. So once you're on your home page, you'll see that there's a little icon or a little pen on the top right hand corner. You're going to click that, and that will take you to the section where you can upload the photo. Now note, LinkedIn background images are a different or a unique size. There are 1400 by 400 image length or image size, which means that it's not a standard Google image. You will have to use a program like Canva or Adobe or Spark to be able to create something that fits quite nicely into this section. So you simply click Change Photo, and then you can locate any image that you're wanting to upload or where you have saved it. So I'll just, for demonstration purposes, click the same image. So on your one, if you haven't already uploaded this, it'll just be a green or blank looking for someone for.
Okay.
So how do we, if you completed your education, maybe 5, 10, 15 years ago, it's probably not.
Okay, so this is how and where you would change your tagline. You can use different symbols from various programs to incorporate a tagline. And it would be up to you if you wanted to showcase your education within your introduction. For example, cases where you wouldn't, maybe you completed your education, 15 years ago and it's no longer relevant, or maybe you have changed degrees. So for example, I will reflect on my own. You've gone from nursing and you are now a marketing manager. So no longer is the nursing degree as relevant as it used to be. So have a play around.
Something really relevant.
I cannot encourage the settings and the initial 1/3 of your LinkedIn to be as strong as possible. Okay. I thought I had a video for it, but my apologies. And the URL, if you've got a URL up here and it's still got all of those numbers afterwards, you can simply click this edit public URL profile, and that will take you to the area where you can change this. And again, that helps your personal branding. My apologies, everyone on the call, sorry. Yes, here we go.
So to create a customized URL, you're going to go to your profile. So this is the profile homepage. Now go to the top right-hand corner and you will find Edit Public Profile and URL. Click on this and it will take you to a separate page. Again, on the top right-hand corner, you will find it says Edit Your Custom URL. Now on your one, if you haven't done this already, there will be a lot of sequence of numbers already existing in this box. So you can remove those and replace it with either nothing, so remove the numbers entirely and then click Save, or you can type something in that's specific to your personal brand. So for example, for me, I'm going to have it as impressive CV.
Okay, so for you, if you were, again, marketing, you could have marketing director, marketing manager, or innovative marketing, something that will just define who you are. So I know this all sounds really basic, but it's really important to remember that in the UAE market, you have literally got hundreds of applicants for one position. So you want to do the best and everything possible that you can to optimize your chances for the UAE market. Okay, so not all applications will request a cover letter. But if it does, I would be encouraging you to upload. If it gives you an option, that's when you would be encouraged to upload it. I would not be uploading a cover letter if there is no request for you to do it. So don't attach a cover letter to your CV to make it, combine your cover letter with your CV. Only attach it where the portal recommends. So how do we make sure we are writing a good cover letter? Because this can be a little bit tricky. First of all, you want to be making sure that you've got the address listed at the top of the document, okay? And that is who the document is being sent to. So it's not your address, it's the company that you're applying to. You would list their address on the top of the document, okay? You always want to be making sure that you have got the title of the job and then any reference number. So quite often, even on LinkedIn, if you scroll to the bottom, it would give you a reference number. You want to make sure that that is included. So not only the job title, but any reference number that is listed on the advert. It's really important, take the time to address the letter to who's going to read it. So rather than just writing it as Dear Hiring Manager or Dear HR or to whom it may concern, do your homework. Find out who is the hiring manager and address that letter to the person. Definitely make sure that you've got your own contact details up here, plus your LinkedIn. And then you have a call to action at the end of the document. Okay, so you're initiating, thank you, and you're looking forward to hearing them, or you welcome the opportunity to meet with them over a Zoom call to discuss further. Okay, so that's kind of like the formalities. So what do we have in the body of the cover letter itself? So it's really important that we are highlighting what you are qualified for. So in this example, you are presenting yourself in response to the position of whatever you're applying for, and that you are qualified as a leading hand open space maintenance. So that's this gentleman's official, I think he was in gardening, to be honest, official qualifications. How many years do you offer? Okay, so you bring forth or you offer more than 10 years or 15 years, whatever you have. So you're highlighting what you're qualified for, how many years worth of experience you've got, and then you want to make sure that you are showcasing that you have got well-developed hard and soft skills. So any of the skills that are listed in the application, this is where you would be incorporating them from. So read the job advert and find out what skills have they got listed, and then you're going to incorporate the exact same hard and soft skills. And then finally, in the opening paragraph, you are going to tell them that you are confident that your skills will advance the company. So a small opening paragraph should read something like that. Okay, exactly what I was mentioning. Make sure that you're using the skill sets from the job description itself. And that's what we call tailoring your applications. Okay, it's just another example. Again, you can take a screenshot of this, but you can clearly see that we have identified what their education or their qualifications are. We are showing that we have got different skill sets, so lean methodologies, streamlining practices. The soft skills that we have incorporated here is team management, so we can see here how many staff they have managed, and then a call to action discussing the document further, or inviting them for a Zoom call would probably be a stronger call to action. You can list a couple of achievements if you if you wish. You can list them in dot point, bullet point, or you can explain the achievements in sentences. But that's how you would be adding your value from a cover letter perspective. Okay, so we're almost coming to the end. I know I've jam-packed a lot of information in here. We'll come to some questions in a moment. But I want to make sure that you are, you've got enough tips and tricks for the platform of what works well within the UAE. So you'll find that there are many events that are being promoted. You've got webinars such as this. You've got the LinkedIn live feeds. You've got every person creating events. So they are a common thing that you'll find in this region. I know LinkedIn is widely used compared to others, places such as South Africa or the UK, etc. It's a great opportunity to get yourself out there. Always share your own LinkedIn profile or connect with people on the call. And that way your own network will expand. As I mentioned before, I can't stress the importance enough of your network is your net worth. LinkedIn Premium might be something that you would like to consider. You definitely don't have to have it. It does allow you to inbox certain people, the hiring managers, connect with more people than the basic does, but it's not mandatory. It is something to consider though. You could try your 1 month free trial and see how you go, because the option does exist of it identifies and it tells you exactly what skill sets are requested or required from the hiring manager on LinkedIn. So it ensures that you've got a stronger compatibility match. You can consider having some recommendations on your LinkedIn profile. Not mandatory, but again, if you're trying to get that added value or that edge over someone, you can get some recommendations. Frequent LinkedIn content. So as I mentioned, LinkedIn is the #1 platform for the UAE region in terms of recruitment. Make sure that you're visible on the digital space. So you really want to be putting out some thought leadership content, sharing ideas, maybe even posting some videos if you are confident to get in front of the camera. You can consider a video CV. They are definitely up and coming in this region. I know the platform I Want to Work encourages their users to upload their videos, and then the recruiter can then filter the candidates through the video CV. At the end of the day, personal branding is really important in this region. You can't just rely on clicking the apply button. As I mentioned, attending Zoom conference calls. Now, for example, I know there's 2 or 3 of my clients off the top of my head that attends a lot of Zoom conferences, and this sticks in my head. So if I know that I have got a position, for example, a communications director or a cultural, someone in corporate or culture, change management, I am reminded of who I should be recommending, purely because they are attending so many Zoom calls. So get noticed, okay? I cannot stress the importance of making sure that you're tailoring your CV to each and every application. You will not succeed if you are using your one resume or one cover letter for every application in Dubai, okay? Okay, so I know I have talked for just 40 minutes straight, but I really hope that I gave as much information as possible. If you would like to work with me, and this is for someone who has got less than 15 years of experience, for those who have got more, I do have different packages. But for any of these packages, you can work with me on a one-to-one basis where I would personally help you with your CVs, your LinkedIn or your cover letters.